let's say you're walking down the street, which you do often with your loved one, and some unruly male throws a snowball at you.
Okay, I'm trying to mute. There we go. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're doing something a little bit different this year for Hot Topics and release highlights. For the last few years, we've had a 2-hour session, but we're breaking them up this year. And so we are doing release 1, new features this month. And next month, we'll be doing our hot topic, and I'll give you more information about that at the end of the presentation. So thank you for joining us today. Really excited with the group that we have. And let's go to the next slide. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping and answer a lot of the questions that I get. First and foremost, everybody will receive an email from me, Dawn Westerberg, at lbmc.com, with the slides and a link to the recording. And just allow me up to 3 business days to get that out the door, but it will be sent to you as soon as we've got all of that prepared. We are offering CPE for today's session. So if you wish, we encourage everybody to answer our poll questions, but especially if you are here for CPE, you must answer all of the poll questions. And that's how we verify to NASBA that you were participating throughout the whole session. Now, your CPE certificate is going to come from a different source. And so please allow up to 2 weeks to receive your certificate. If in the event you don't receive it after 2 weeks, you've got my email right here. Email me and I will chase that down for you. In the 3 years that I've been with LBMC, I've only had to do that twice. So I'm very confident that you will receive your CPE certificate as promised, but in the event that something goes awry, you know where to find me. Now, we also have the Q&A function open. So please, if you have any questions, don't be shy, use the Q&A. We'd love to hear from you. So let me introduce today's speakers. Presenting today are Olivia Greenlee, and she's an alum of Ottawa University. And when Olivia is not helping our clients, she serves as a middle school girls youth group leader. She has a lot of courage. Olivia redefines possible and better for our team, our clients, and our communities. She is our senior Sage Intacct consultant. And joining her in today's session is senior Intacct consultant Kenzie Cook. Inspired by her own rescue pup, Kenzie helps dog rescue organizations when she's not helping our clients. And while Kenzie is new to LBMC Tech, she is not new to Intacct Consulting and brings multiple certifications from Intacct. So we're all in very good hands with Kenzie and Olivia, and I'll turn it over to them.
Great. Thank you so much, Dawn. Hopefully everyone's able to hear me okay. As Dawn mentioned, my name is Olivia Greenlee, and I am joined today by Kenzie Cook. We are so excited to share all the fantastic updates in the first release of 2026. So on today's agenda, we'll start with a couple of announcements, followed by the new release updates for our company and admin module, our accounts payable and purchasing modules, accounts receivable and order entry, cash management, construction, contracts, time and expense, fixed assets, general ledger, inventory and supplies, projects and grants, and lastly, tax. We'll also highlight early adopter features and wrap up with a Q&A session. All right, so jumping right into our quick announcements and reminders. Please make sure your teams and vendors know about the AP automation email domain change. So over the weekend of February 13th through the 16th of 2026, Companies were migrated to the new email experience, and email addresses changed from at sagemail.com to at ai.sage.com. Messages sent to the old address will be forwarded for a period of time, but you should update your vendor communications now. The new domain enables auto forwarding rules, more file formats, and additional failure notifications for documents that don't process. Also, vendor payments powered by CSI will no longer be supported after August 7th. If you rely on that service, start evaluating alternatives with your account manager or reach out to your LBMC contact or our wonderful support team so that you have a smooth transition come August. As I mentioned, we are so excited to meet with all of you today. So we have some other great opportunities to meet up again the first of which is our hot topic presentation on March 26th, presented by myself. During this session, we'll explore how Sage Intacct's email documents and printed document templates work together to streamline communication. So I'd be excited for you to join that. There's also Sage Future, and registration is still open. So if you're interested in learning all things Intacct, including the latest and greatest, we highly recommend you and your team register today. This year's conference will be held in San Francisco on April 28th through the 30th and would be a fantastic opportunity to develop your knowledge on subjects that help you and your organization the most. And lastly, we have another fantastic opportunity for you and your team to meet up with LBMC, which is our Sage Intacct Summit that will be held in Nashville, Tennessee on July 21st. We would love to have you join us, and the link to registration will be included in the PowerPoint slide provided to you at a later date. You can also let us know in the chat if you're interested in registering, and we'll get that information to you. All right, that concludes our announcement. So we'll go ahead and jump right into our new features. So first up is the company and admin module. The changes made in this module are designed to reduce prep work and allows the rest of Intacct to run smoother. The first update is the AI-powered import service. What used to feel like a mini project, splitting out full names, breaking out an address into street, city, and zip, converting columns into the correct formats, and praying your formulas didn't break, now works the way people think. Instead of fighting with Excel gymnastics or reinventing the same one-off macro every month, you can now just simply tell the system that what you want to happen. It proposes the transformation, allows you to preview it, and gives you the freedom to roll it back if something looks off. The result is a completely unique experience. The prep work that could quietly consume a whole morning becomes a guided, predictable step that you can trust. No more accidental overwrites, no more weird copy and paste errors, and no more hesitation from team members who worry that they might break something. Honestly, what I appreciate the most is the confidence it creates. You and your team can import data without fear because you are now working with a safety net. Having the ability to preview and roll back makes it feel safe to move quickly. The next update we have designed to enhance Intacct user experience is the allowed email addresses list. This is a security feature designed to protect your organization from email spoofing and phishing attacks. It ensures that any email sent from Sage Intacct to your customers comes from trusted, verified email addresses. Sage Intacct automatically builds the allowed email list using the distinct sender and reply to addresses your company has used within the last 3 months. This automation reduces setup time and ensures the list reflects your organization's actual email sending behavior. The feature strengthens email security by helping ensure all outgoing messages come from approved, legitimate sources. Company administrators can review and manage the allowed email list at any time. And admins also have full control of the list. They can add new addresses, remove outdated addresses, or keep existing entries as needed. Importantly, this feature does not change any email sending behavior in your system. It simply adds another layer of protection to ensure emails appear trustworthy to recipients. And with all the new releases that are coming out, there are some permission changes for you to be aware of. Multiple areas picked up targeted new options. Sage Intacct or Sage Intelligent Time now has time settings for geofencing, which we'll look at in our presentation. Fixed Assets has added the permissions to include the ability to run the roll forward report. Order Entry has added billing group permissions for list and view, and to add, edit, and delete for billing groups as well. Lastly, Projects introduces a Manage Projects permission for bulk updates. Each one is designed to land in the sweet spot of just enough access, letting the right person do the right task without handing out overly broad admin rights.
Awesome, thanks, Olivia. Now we're going to shift to APM purchasing. APM purchasing are great examples of those areas where a handful of well-placed improvements can translate into real time saved for teams who live in these modules every day. Starting with AP. You can now post AP advances at the top level, which finally brings AP in line with how AR already works. Instead of popping in and out of entities to get deposits or prepayments recorded, you can manage them centrally and keep the flow consistent across the company. There are a few mechanics to keep in mind so the accounting stays clean. Top-level draft advances still require a currency. Cash basis companies aren't supported for this workflow. And for cross-currency advances, the transaction currency has to match the bank's currency. But in practice, the result is a smoother, less fragmented process. It centralizes control, cuts down on entity switching, and makes handling organization-wide deposits far less tedious. Another improvement on the control side is the new support for AP and AR reversals within Smart Rules and Smart Events. In the past, reversals didn't trigger any of your automations, which meant important actions or guardrails could be skipped without anyone realizing it. Now, when you reverse a bill or invoice, Sage Intacct creates a reversal record. And if that record meets the condition of your smart rule or smart event, those actions fire automatically. Keeps your audit trail tight, reduces the risk of silent errors, and ensures that the same governance applies whether you're posting the original transaction or cleaning it up later. AP automation also took a meaningful step forward. The system now predicts tax details on vendor bills based on your own posting history. It works whether the bill is a single summary line or a fully itemized invoice. Your team gets to spend less time manually keying in repetitive tax fields and more time reviewing exceptions or true edge cases. The more you post, the better the model gets. Accuracy trends upward over time, while the amount of manual cleanup consistently trends down. It's one of those features that quietly pays dividends every single pay cycle. I also want to highlight the new pay bills experience from the early adopter program, because for high volume AP teams, it's a major quality of life improvement. You can now load up to 5,000 bills at once and view up to 1,000 rows per page, which dramatically reduces paging and waiting. Filters are more precise, including project and location-based credit filters, and, importantly, your filters persist as you navigate, so you're not constantly rebuilding your view. The layout is cleaner, more modern, and easier on the eyes. Splitting the vendor column into name and ID is a small change that makes sorting and searching much faster. And if your team batches payments by type, the ability to group by preferred payment method makes organizing checks, ACH, or wires feel much more controlled and efficient. On the purchasing side, line level approvals bring a level of nuance that teams have needed for years. Approvers can advance, reroute, or reject specific lines within a requisition or PO instead of being forced into an all or nothing decision. This means high priority or time-sensitive items don't get stuck behind a single questionable line. It keeps critical purchases moving, creates clear accountability for each decision, and aligns the workflow much more closely with how budget owners naturally evaluate spend. The result, shorter cycle times and fewer bottlenecks. Next, we'll look at accounts receivable and order entry. First up in AR, we have customer health fields. These new fields give your team a consistent way to capture and view customer health information directly on the customer record. Intacct now includes 3 fields: health score, health status, and a churn risk indicator, which allows you to bring in engagement or risk signals from your CRM, internal processes, or other external systems. For example, you might have a customer with a score of 62 and a status of at risk, which makes it easy for finance and customer-facing teams to quickly identify potential issues and take proactive action. You can also use these fields in list views, custom reports, imports, and APIs, making them powerful building blocks for visibility and analysis. Overall, this enhancement centralizes key customer insights and helps teams spot risk earlier and coordinate follow-up more effectively. Another great Release 1 feature is the enhanced notification system for recurring transactions in AR and AP. With this update, Intacct now sends automatic email alerts whenever a recurring bill doesn't generate as expected. This makes it much easier to stay on top of your recurring schedules, quickly spot issues, and make sure nothing slips through the crack. You can also set a global backup recipient to receive all recurring schedule notifications, which is especially helpful if the original owner is out of office. Plus, each recurring schedule now includes a dedicated email field, letting you route alerts to the right person for that specific workflow. A big addition in the order entry is billing groups. This feature gives you a brand new way to streamline billing for customers who share similar invoicing needs. With this enhancement, you can group customers together, apply common charges once, and automate invoice generation for the entire group. This helps reduce repetitive manual work, ensures more consistent billing, and eliminates the need for external spreadsheets or multi-step workarounds. Billing groups also allow you to set up recurring or one-time charges, define a billing schedule, and automatically generate invoices based on that schedule. Before invoices go out, you can preview the group's billing activity and make sure everything looks accurate. Overall, this feature centralizes billing management, improves accuracy, and saves significant time for teams who bill multiple customers on shared cycles.
Brings us to our very first poll question. And as I mentioned at the top of the hour, if you are here for CPE, and Teams is being a little bit slow. So in a moment, there's going to be a pop-up window. Are you seeing the pop-up window? No? Okay.
Okay.
Let's give it a moment. How about now? So our first poll question is whether or not you want to receive CPE credit for this session. Very, very simple yes or no. And again, you must answer all questions to receive the CPE credit. Give it a couple of more beats, and then I'm going to close down the poll. Turn it back over to Kenzie and Olivia. All right, we're done.
Thank you, Dawn. So now we'll take a look at the cash management new features. So in cash management, there have been some enhancements to check printing setup. This update introduces a more intuitive and streamlined way to manage check printing settings. The setup experience is cleaner with only the fields you actually need, reducing confusion and making formatting easier. You can now enter a company address for checks that is different from the one stored on the company information page. You can also upload a logo more easily for printing directly on your checks. Overall, setup is faster and more user-friendly. The next helpful improvement is around reconciliation. So if your payment processors deduct fees before depositing funds, you can now match payments and fees by a shared document number. This enhancement introduces a new document number field on the bank interest and charges page. The document number now appears consistently across all pages and reports that include document numbers, improving visibility and alignment during reconciliation. Key benefits to this enhancement include accurate reconciliation, giving you the ability to use a shared document number, such as the bank statement transaction number, to match customer payments, and processing fees with greater precision. Faster, more reliable matching by giving matching rules the capability to group by document number and match on amount, including combined debits and credits to streamline the process. Fewer matching errors, reducing the risk of mismatched fees and payments and improving overall data accuracy. You also get a clearer audit trail. A single document identifier links to fee and payment, making account reviews and audits cleaner and easier. The last cash management update is to the Bank Transaction Assistant. So if you are importing data using the Bank Transaction Assistant, those imported transactions now show up directly on the Banking Cloud tab, just like bank feed data. That gives you one place and one set of tools to manage everything consistently. So now we'll take a look at construction and what updates are going on in that module. So starting with work order management and work order dimension. So this feature is designed for organizations managing high volume, short duration service jobs, allowing them to keep these projects separate from the large construction projects. Major advantages of this new application start with streamlined workflows. The work orders now have their own dedicated application tailored to service-related work. You can reference work orders directly on Intacct transactions in areas such as AP, time, or projects, for example, which enhance efficiency. You can optimize system performance by separating service level work orders from long-term construction projects. Your system remains cleaner and faster. Work orders can also integrate with field service application, so field technicians and accounting stay on the same page. Work order management consists of two main components: a new work order management application and a new work order dimension, which can be used across different Intacct modules. The dimension behaves just like any other dimension in Intacct, carrying through transactions and reporting. Another great new update in Sage Intacct Construction is the flexible retainage release functionality. So this enhancement allows users to release retainage directly from the primary document, offering faster, more streamlined processing, especially in regions where retainage is typically released in bulk. The feature provides a couple of major benefits, one of which is this feature expands release options. This does not replace existing processes. You can still release retainage per invoice line via the AP retainage release page as needed. The new feature simply adds flexibility. The other major benefit is meeting regional requirements. Many regions require retainage to be released in bulk. For example, 50% at practical completion and the remainder at the end of the defect period. The new workflow supports this requirement by letting you release retainage directly from the primary document. Sage Intacct has updated the primary documents page in purchasing. So when editing a primary document, there is now a release retainage button located on the primary document details tab, specifically within the accounts payable bill section. Other enhancements to the Sage construction world are enhancements to work in progress management, or WIP management. This release brings major improvements to WIP management. So you can now set costs and billings to complete for multiple projects at once using the new work in progress schedule projects page. So also Sage Intacct Paperless. So this update will allow you to improve and modernize your paper heavy AP document workflow. Sage Intacct Paperless is an intelligent automated solution that allows you to capture, index, and store documents in one secure place. And lastly, there have been some updates to Sage Intacct Construction Payroll that include key enhancements for complex construction scenarios. And that brings us over to our contracts module. So in contracts, renewal pricing got easier. Many companies adjust contract billing based on consumer price index or CPI changes. But doing this manually across large contract volumes is time consuming and error prone. This release introduces CSV import and API options to automate renewal pricing updates and keep billing aligned with consumer price index. You can now use CSV imports and APIs to update renewal and evergreen templates automatically. This is especially helpful if you're using external CPI or pricing systems. You can also update custom renewal amounts through the API as well. Previously, pricing fields for renewal and evergreen templates could only be updated in the user interface, and custom renewal amounts were limited to user interface or CSV. This new tool enhances automation and scalability. Also, you can now revert the most recent dimension reassignments on a contract line. As long as no new transactions were posted after the dimension reassignment, you can now quickly restore the previous dimensions and remove the reassignment record along with any of the related GL entries, keeping your contract history clean. It's designed to fix mistakes without needing to edit the general ledger or wait until the next day to perform another reassignment. With one action, the system restores the original dimensions, saving time and reducing the risk of errors. When you revert a reassignment, the system restores the previous dimensions on the contract line, removes the reassignment record from the transaction history, and deletes the related general ledger journal entries. Keep in mind, only the most recent reassignments can be reverted. To revert an older change, you must revert each more recent reassignment in order.
Now on to time and expenses with a focus on trustworthy time capture that respects privacy. Geofencing in Sage Intelligent Time is now available to pilot through the early adopter program, and it really does strike the balance teams have been asking for. You get the assurance of location verification without introducing friction into anyone's day. When someone clocks in or out, the app checks their location against the defined site boundary. If they're just outside the geofence, like their parking lot, job trailer, or on the wrong side of the building, the system doesn't block them. Instead, it gives a clear warning and flags the entry for review. Work continues, nothing comes to a halt, and supervisors get a clean signal of what to double check later. What also stands out is the privacy posture. Location tracking is fully consent-based and only active when someone is clocked in. There's no ambient tracking, no always-on monitoring, and no data being collected in the background. You get a stronger audit trail without creating a surveillance feel. The practical advantages show up quickly. Reduced time fraud risk, more reliable billable hours, and a noticeable drop in the Friday scramble when payroll is trying to reconcile odd punches. Over time, the real benefit goes beyond fewer mistakes. You start to see more predictability in hours tied to projects, and clients experience fewer disputes because the data story is so clear.
Thank you, Kenzie. So now we'll take a look at fixed asset management. So in fixed asset management, there are several great updates. First of which is FAM, or fixed asset management, now supports end-to-end CIP asset workflows. Woo! You can manage long-term capital projects like buildings, infrastructure, or custom equipment directly in Intacct. So bills and invoices coded to CIPGL accounts can automatically create CIP assets and track spending without manual setup. This significantly reduces manual work, improves accuracy, and speeds up capitalization. You can track capital projects from initial spend all the way through final capitalization in one unified system. Assets that are in progress are accurately reflected on balance sheets as they accumulate costs. This gives you the ability to eliminate spreadsheets and manual data entry and offers real-time insight into project spend, progress, and readiness for capitalization. Actions like create CIP asset and add to existing CIP assets automatically appear on transactions coded to CIPGL accounts. So if the projects module is enabled, selecting a project dimension automatically associates the related CIP asset. CIP assets start in construction and progress state, where costs can continue to be added. They also include a CIP identification checkbox for reporting, even after moving out of CIP status. Next, a roll forward report has been added to fixed asset management. This report gives complete visibility into asset lifecycle changes across periods, helping teams confidently reconcile the fixed asset subledger to the general ledger. The report will include activities such as asset cost for opening, additions, disposals, and closing balances, depreciation for opening, period depreciation, disposals and closing balances, and net book value for opening and closing balances. You can also filter the report by asset range, classification, location, journal, and asset state. This enhancement standardizes reporting and saves a ton of time during audits. You can also now increase or decrease in assets cost directly from an AP adjustment. This simplifies corrections related to capital improvements, revaluations, or past acquisition errors. Previously, cost changes required the asset to be in ready for review status and often forced reversals, repostings, or manual GL workarounds. Now, simply posting an AP adjustment updates the asset automatically, including future depreciation recalculations. A new asset to adjust field has been added on AP adjustment lines, so you can specify which asset to update. Asset records also now include a cost adjustments tab, making it easier to review all changes that impact an asset cost. To adjust an asset, the asset must be in service or ready for review status. Also, please note that only future unposted depreciation recalculates. Posted depreciation entries remain unchanged. And finally, perhaps my favorite update to the fixed asset management module is asset classifications are no longer tied one-to-one to GL accounts. So previously, each asset classification required its own unique GL account. But now, multiple classifications can share the same asset GL account, reducing unnecessary complexity. The GL account still functions normally, capturing all asset-related transactions, but classification setup is now more customizable. Bill and purchasing transaction lines that create assets now include an asset classification dropdown. When you choose an asset GL account, the classification dropdown automatically filters to show only the classifications that use that specific GL account. This ensures accuracy and helps guarantee that new assets inherit the correct GL configurations.
Second poll question. And hopefully you're seeing the pop-up window. I know that Valentine's Day was a couple of weeks ago, but I thought this would be a fun question. The oldest known Valentine message was exchanged when? The 14th century, the 15th century, 18th century, or the 19th century? Give you a few minutes to respond. All right, I'm going to close the poll. And if you said the 14th century, you are correct. One of the oldest known Valentine messages was written in 1415 by Charles, Duke of Orleans, to his wife while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London. So thank you for participating in that.
All of the new releases activity ultimately lands in the books. So let's head into the general ledger. You'll see improvements that make allocation simpler and reconciliations more transparent. Two updates in general ledger are especially worth calling out because they directly reduce the manual work and make your month-end cleaner. First, dynamic allocations got a smart design tweak. We now use the source account group as a target. It sounds like a tiny configuration change, but the impact is big. This opens the doors to spreading balances across dimensions, department, project location, without breaking the integrity of the original account balance. You're no longer cloning allocation rules, maintaining near identical spreadsheets, or creating workaround accounts just to keep reporting clean. You set the rule once, run the allocation, and the results stay perfectly aligned to your chart. It's cleaner, more consistent, it removes a whole category of maintenance work that nobody enjoys. And Intacct added a built-in GL account reconciliation. The system proactively surfaces unmatched entries and maintains a clean history of each reconciliation. What was matched, what was cleared, and when. Think about that one suspense or clearing account that routinely eats an afternoon. Instead of scrolling line by line hunting for the mismatch, the exceptions bubble up immediately. You clear them, confirm the match, and keep moving. And when auditors ask the classic, why was this matched to that question, the evidence is already packaged. No screenshots, no exported PDFs, no detective work months later, the clean audit trail is built in. When your allocation logic reflects reality and your reconciliations preserve their own history, your close doesn't just get faster, it becomes more resilient. Leadership, auditors, and anyone reviewing the books gets a transparent answer to the hard questions without extra prep work from your team. It's clarity you don't have to recreate every period. Next up, inventory and supplies. Two small words, big operational impact, substitutions and reservations. Flexible item substitutions. You can pre-approve alternate items so frontline teams aren't stuck when the preferred SKU runs low. Instead of stopping the workflow, calling around, or sending "what should I use instead" messages, the system automatically suggests the right alternates. It's basically proactive rules to keep supplies moving. With automatic reservations, you protect priority requests so the right recipients actually receive the right supplies. No more watching critical items get absorbed by someone else's order simply because they got there first. Reservations bring order and fairness into the mix. High priority needs don't get pushed aside by routine replenishment. The everyday effect is real. Fewer reschedules, fewer urgent emails, and far more predictable fulfillment. And this matters anywhere timing or compliance carries real consequences. When the right item reaches the right person at exactly the right moment, everything flows.
We've got our next poll question, and we've been going through a lot of the release highlights. Maybe you've taken a look at the release notes already, but how prepared do you think your team is for the R1 release? Your choices are: we've reviewed the release notes and are ready, we've started reviewing but need more time, or we're aware of the release but haven't reviewed it yet. And looking at the results of the poll, it looks like most people are aware of the release but haven't reviewed it yet. So you're in the right place.
Thank you. All right, so now we're going to take a look at our projects and grants module and what updates we have. So the new Manage Projects feature allows you to filter and bulk update multiple projects at once, saving significant time and improving efficiencies. It provides an intuitive way to update project fields across many projects or grants without manual one-by-one edits. You can now filter projects using criteria such as status, date, or other attributes. Select multiple projects and apply updates using an interactive bulk edit interface. This runs the updates as offline jobs with detailed completion logs and error reporting. Use permission controls and validation checks to ensure only authorized users can make mass updates. Previously, you could not update multiple projects in a single process. leading to inefficient, repetitive work. So this enhancement provides more streamlined project management, faster load times, and better performance, a more modern and improved user experience as well. To enable this feature securely, assign the Manage Projects permission to the appropriate user or roles to ensure users have the correct authority to perform mass updates. Eligible user types for this are business users with admin privileges, or just a business user with limited or off admin privileges, and product manager user types. Another new enhancement allows you to automatically connect projects with construction and progress assets in the fixed asset management module. So this connection enables consistent cost tracking, reduces manual steps, and streamlines workflows between project management and asset management. You can now link existing CIP assets directly to a project. This is done in the Dimensions section of the main projects page. Once linked, CIP values autofill on bills and purchasing transactions whenever the project is selected. Before linking, the system checks that the asset has the correct CIP status and ensuring accuracy and proper setup. So previously, you had to manually choose a CIP asset every cost entry, which was repetitive and prone to error. Now, you link the project and the CIP asset one time, and all future transactions automatically inherit both values. This improves consistency and saves and reduces incorrect coding. All right, so that brings us over to our tax module. So order entry and purchasing transactions that include VAT or GST now show net and tax in a single line when converted to AP or AR transactions. This update provides a cleaner, more intuitive presentation of tax information. So previously, converted transactions showed separate lines for net and tax, creating extra clutter and making review harder. The streamlined display offers a clearer snapshot of transaction details, especially for teams handling high volume conversions. Net and tax amounts are now combined, making transactions easier to read and review. You can also now calculate VAT and GST tax returns directly in Sage Intacct without exporting data or closing your books. The new tax box report feature gives you instant insight into your tax burden for any defined period, using both standard and custom tax solutions. Tax box reporting is a three-step process. So you define tax detail boxes, the values that feed the report, define the tax box report format, structure and layout of the report, and lastly, run the tax box report whenever you need visibility into tax obligations. You can also run tax box reports for an existing tax submission to review or validate previously filed amounts. Key benefits to this enhancement are expanded regional support that works with both standard and custom tax solutions, supporting companies operating outside built-in VAT/GST regions, and flexible real-time reporting. You can run the tax box reports anytime, even mid-period, without closing the books. This provides a quick snapshot of your upcoming tax burden for better planning and compliance. So that brings us to our early adopter programs. So we've mentioned a couple of different programs early adopters throughout our presentation. There are a few more we'll go over. Just to give you a bit of information about what the early adopter programs are. So this allows select customers to try features early and influence refinement before they're rolled out broadly. If you would like to sign up for any early adopter programs that we've reviewed today or that we're going to touch base on, please reach out to your LBMC contact or reach out to our fantastic support desk to get you signed up for those programs. So taking a look at our early adopter, we've covered geofencing for time clocks in the Sage Intelligent Time module. And we've also reviewed the enhanced bills experience and accounts payable. But there are a few more early adopters that we want to highlight. So first is our Close Analytics early adopter program, which gives you insight into your month-end close. It highlights recurring delays, reclassifications, and reconciliation patterns so you can improve the process over time. It also separates auto-matched versus manually matched transactions to help you refine matching rules. As of right now, enrollment for this early adopter program is currently closed, but definitely feel free to reach out to us to check on that status if in case it gets opened up again and you'd like to get signed up for that program. Otherwise, it'll be a nice new release rolled out to everyone. We also have embedded customer payment services early adopter. So Intacct now it offers an embedded solution that lets customers pay invoices automatically using a secure pay invoice now link. Payments are processed through Fortis and other supported providers, giving customers a simple self-service payment experience. This enhancement helps accelerate cash flow by making it easier and faster for customers to pay. And lastly, we have the Finance Intelligent Agent powered by Sage Copilot. This feature lets you ask natural language questions about your financial data and get instant insights with clear reasoning behind each answer. This feature is available in early adopter for selected regions, including the US.
All right, we've got our fourth poll question. I'm sorry that some people ran into an issue with the third poll question. They said that they did not get a submit button. So if you look in the chat, I've given you my email address. Please just email me what your answer was, and I will add it to the report. The fourth poll question is, are you interested in any of the newly released functionality? First choice is yes, I'd like to implement. Second choice is yes, we can hold a strategy session with our LBMC tech consultant or Sam. And the third choice is not right now. And I'm going to leave this up a little bit longer than I have on the others. If perhaps one of the problems was it was just slow to populate the submit button. There's a raise your hand function up in the toolbox. Anyone run into problems with this particular poll question? Would you just go ahead and raise your hand? Doesn't look like it. Well, thank you for your patience, and I am sorry about poll question number 3. So I'm going to close the poll down. And we can move forward.
Before we get to Q&A, I want to point out 3 quick videos that are worth sharing with your team. The first one is vendor payments with Mineral Tree. This video shows the full end-to-end motion in a clean and very digestible way. It's great for new hires, cross-training, or standardizing the payables process across entities. Instead of explaining steps verbally or hoping people read a PDF, the video shows exactly how the flow should look from start to finish. The Sage Intelligent Time and Expense mobile app focuses on capturing receipts and submitting expense reports on the go. If you've ever tried to train someone on expenses over email, this is the fix. You can show people what to tap, how it behaves, and why the workflow matters. It cuts down on back and forth and gives teams real confidence using the app in the field. A short tutorial on adding dimension attributes to financial reports is the last one. This is perfect for decision makers or their admins who always ask for extra context in their reports without wanting to rebuild their favorite layouts. The video shows how to add the attributes cleanly so reports remain familiar but far more useful. I also want to point out the 2026 release calendar. Sage drops 4 major releases a year, so there's always something new coming your way. Each release packs in a mix of new features, early adopter program updates, and quality or performance improvements. The nice thing is the pace is super consistent, so customers don't have to wait long for updates. On top of those big quarterly drops, Intacct also pushes small service updates as needed. Those are the behind-the-scenes fixes and optimizations that keep everything running smoothly. Overall, it's a consistent flow of updates, giving you opportunities to adopt new capabilities as soon as they're released. Covered a lot of ground today, so we're going to open it up for questions.
So you can use the chat to ask any questions. I have one here. Will any of these features be enabled automatically?
Yeah, sorry, go on, Olivia.
That's a great question. Many of the enhancements are automatically available, but except the early adopter features. Those would require activation or enrollment, but many of the enhancements are automatically available, yes.
Okay. And then we have another question. How do you get to the GL account reconciliations?
That is a great question. I will have to get back to you on the exact navigation of it. But if we can get your name and email, and I can give you the step-by-step navigation for it.
All right. Next question. Let me see here. What are customer health insights?
So this is a new dashboard style tool that provides indicators on customer payment behavior, outstanding balances and trends, which helps you identify risk or potential collection issues.
Okay. Christy and Leslie, I'm taking down your information so that we can get back to you about the GL account reconciliation. And then are tax box reports fully available now?
That is a really good question. And yes, they are generally available right now.
Okay.
They are.
I don't see any more questions, so we can move to the next slide. Oh, wait, I take that back. When is payment processing enhancement available?
That is a good question. I believe that is an early adopter, the payment services enhancement. And so that is available now. So if you want to sign up for that early adopter program, drop your information in the chat or reach out to us and let us know so we can get you signed up for that. But that early adopter program is open now.
Very good. All right, I want to share some details on some stuff coming up. As I said, we've split up hot topics. So coming up in March, Olivia will be presenting again, and she's going to be talking about optimizing communication with email documents and printed document templates in Sage Intacct. And I'll have a registration link for you in the follow-up email, and we'll be offering CPE credit for that as well. Next slide. We mentioned Sage Future, mark your calendar. It's a great complement to the experience and talent of our team that we're going to have 2 speakers at Sage Future. So if you are attending, be sure to look for Olivia and Angela and their session From Stress to Success. We'll go to the next one. Now we are hosting our own live Sage Intacct User Summit. And as Olivia mentioned at the top, that's going to be on July 21st in Nashville. And what's really fun about this is the Nashville Opera, or more formally, the Noah Liff Opera Center in Nashville, is a client of ours using Sage Intacct. And they have meeting facilities. So we will be hosting the event at the Opera Center, which I think is really a fun thing, not your typical business conference room. Next slide. And those are all the announcements for us. I really want to thank Kenzie and Olivia for their presentation today. They covered a lot of ground and it was very succinct. And again, my apologies for the glitch on poll question number 3. I'll get that corrected with you. And also thanks to the Sage Intacct consultants who were on the chat and answered some of the early on questions for us right within the chat. Instant gratification. We always appreciate that as well. Everybody, thank you so much for attending, and I hope we see you in March.